Welcome to the Stretch2Go Podcast. My name is Ian Ray, your host today, and I have the privilege of having Paula Wayvithus from Fascia House Sports Therapy.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm very excited to be on your podcast today.
Thank you. So, Paula, I know people will be like, where is this accent coming from? Who is she? I would love for people to know who you are, where you're from originally, how you came here, and then, of course, how you started Fascia House Sports Therapy. So go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'm Paula Wayvithus. I'm actually originally born and raised in South Africa. But I've been living in the United States for, actually, this year will be 31 years. I can't believe I've been here 31. Yeah, no, it's a long time. And I started doing bodywork or massage therapy around 2007 or 2008. I became a massage therapist. I actually ended up working for the Marriott, which is one of the resorts here in Southern California. I worked there for 11 years as a therapist. But in the meantime, I was always more interested in the therapeutic side of bodywork or massage, if you will. So I used to do a lot of private clients on the side where I do more specific work as opposed to just spa work. But working for the Marriott actually gave me a good experience just dealing with people in general. Then what happened was this guy called Chris Wayland came to work at the Marriott, and he was already at level 2 in FST, Fascial Stretch Therapy. And he was the one who introduced me to FST and told me all about it. So then he wanted to know if I'd be interested in getting together and doing business together, or possibly starting a business together, because I was very interested in the FST and saw what it did. So we rented a little office space, not too far from where we are right now, and we would do some clients there in our off times, because we were still working for the Marriott back then. And then I went off to Arizona to do my level 1 certification, which I think I did in 2020, maybe. Yeah. So it's been, right. Yeah. I think I went 2020. And so, I went, sorry, I'm rambling a bit. I went and did my certification. We moved from that little office space. Now we in San Clemente in the business park, which is a great area for businesses. And we've been in this area around 4 or 5 years. And now we're both full-time in this business, and it's just taken off, and it's going great.
That's awesome. So growing up, I guess South Africa, did you work?
Yes.
And if so, what were you doing prior to getting into massage?
Well, actually, it's kind of a bit of a long story, because I actually wanted to be a veterinarian. So I've always sort of had a natural affinity for wanting to either heal things, especially animals. That's really what I wanted to do. I was riding horses. Riding horses is a natural thing for me. No one had to teach me how to do that. And so I sort of had this natural inclination for animals. I also had a natural inclination for anatomy when I was young. I really was fascinated with the anatomy. And I was always sort of that sort of tactile kind of person. But I always had office jobs when I was younger. I did end up working for 2 veterinarians when I was younger, which was fantastic. And then I just decided I wanted to get into, I was going to do equine massage, to be honest with you, but I couldn't do it at the time. So I ended up going to school for humans and started doing massage that way. And I went to an Eastern medicine school, which I really loved, which was, it was really interesting. And I'm happy I did that. And then it just took off from there. And then when I met Chris, we wanted to expand our business. So then we started doing cupping certifications as well. And also in the meantime, I did some neuromuscular therapy work as well, which deals with trigger points and pain patterns in the body. Did a lot of 2 years of classes of of neuromuscular therapy work as well, which really took my work to a different level as well, different understanding. And then I also started doing personal training. I've always had a trainer. I trained for many years. I used to work out like a crazy person and became a personal trainer, which really actually helped my work as well, because I now have a very good understanding of how movement of the body as well as how to work on the body. So I really took me to a different level doing that. Chris has also got a really good sports background as well. So we both kind of have that. And we trained in a cupping certification, same sports doctors that cupped Michael Phelps years ago in the Olympics.
Oh yeah, I remember the pictures of him when
yes,
he was.
exactly. These guys are incredible, and they don't really like to call it cupping. They like to call it myofascial decompression, which I agree with.
Yeah.
And what sets our type of cupping apart to everybody else's is that when we cup, we can cup any part of the body, and we do every part of the body, but we cup along the fascial lines of the body as well, and we add movement with the cups on. So when you're adding movement, it creates a radical stretch between the fascial system and the muscular system, creating more space, better range of motion, and way less pain. So that's where the cupping comes in.
So I guess for someone like myself who wants to learn cupping, which I'm planning to do, what is a great step for someone who has no cupping experience to learn type of cupping? Like, do you go certification? Do you work on yourself? Like, what is a simple thing?
I would if you do the certification. I would 100% do it, yeah. And I would do the physical certification. Don't do online. It's very, very different. And I mean, I would also think somebody would need to have some sort of anatomy background as well. Mm-hmm. Pretty decent anatomy background, because you've really got to understand where and what muscles you're cupping and in that respect. Yeah.
I guess as far as the Stretch2Win Institute, did you have any hesitancy or like, as far as enrolling or like initial thoughts before you went to the course, or were you kind of already sold based off of your conversation with Kurt?
I was completely sold because I loved the work. I loved what he did, and I was sold 100% because he is so extremely passionate about it. And I just saw how he was unbelievably busy. It was crazy. And the results people were getting from him, I mean, that guy was just booked like crazy. So I had no hesitation. I absolutely loved the school. I think it's an unbelievable institutional school. I would highly recommend it. I think it's the gold standard of stretching. I really, really do. And I think Chris and Anne Frederick are absolutely amazing. And I'm going to go back to my level 3.
Oh, nice. When are you?
Well, you know what? I'm going to just, so what I did was, because when I did level 1, they required you did 100 hours of physical work, documented work on people prior to even going back to do level 2, which I really do agree with. I really think you need to gain that experience in order to have your next certification. And I ended up doing, I waited 4 years to go back, which I think was perfect because, I don't think you need to wait that long, but I really felt like it honed in on my craft, so to speak. And so I was a lot more ready for level 2. So I'm going to wait until I'm another year or so until I've got level 2 down.
Gotcha. Yeah. I've heard different practitioners have the same mind, hone the skill, perfect it, move on. Or some people who are just like going bam, bam, back to back to back, which, I mean, it could probably be like...
Yeah. Level 2 is a whole different story to level 1.
Really?
Level 2, yeah. And level 2 is actually where you're learning all of the rest of the skill. Level 3, I don't believe that you're doing as much of learning more stuff. It's more maybe business stuff and different things like that. And I could be wrong, but that's what I took away from it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So as far as like I guess what's the percentage of people coming in getting FST, cupping work, and massage there at Fascia House?
Well, typically when people come in to see us, they either are having severe pain or they've got some sort of injuries going on, or they're just tight and stiff and sore and they just want to get loosened up, whatever the case is. I always start off with a little FST first, every time. Because when I do that, it gives me a better idea of where they're tight and what's going on. Now, if I get somebody on my table that's extremely hypermobile, I'm less likely to do a lot of stretching on them because of the mobility in the joints, because they might not need as much stretch as somebody who's a lot tighter. I would say, I mean, I pretty much stretch every client from, we have young athletes as young as 12, 13, 14, 15 coming to people that are, I think my oldest client right now is 83. And I stretch everybody if they need it.
Sure.
I really feel like the stretch, especially the much older clientele, is very beneficial for them. Sometimes almost more so than the deep tissue work, I think.
What are common, I guess, issues do most people come with that you typically treat? Or I know it varies, but just common ones that you see with FST.
Tons of shoulder pain, shoulder issues, neck, trap, headaches, a lot of shoulder issues, a lot of low back issues in the lower back, tight legs, mostly a lot of stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then as far as like some wins and success stories, can you share with us some wins or success stories that you found of client using FST and how it's helped?
My biggest success story, I would say, was this young woman called, her name is Kim. She was in a car accident several years ago and her entire pelvis was crushed. I mean, she was almost crushed from like head to toe. She shouldn't have been alive or even walking. She had 2 huge pins that just crossed her sacrum area and were holding her together. And she was always in severe, severe pain. I mean, radical headaches. Her back was always in severe pain. I did FST on her for 1 year, every single week. And she regained full mobility. She stopped having headaches, and I even improved the postural muscles in her back because she has a pretty severe kyphosis in her upper back. And then once she started coming in, a lot less, I might have seen her maybe a month or 2 afterwards. The most amazing thing about FST is that work can become permanent. Her range of motion stayed. It was unbelievable for me. Yeah. I mean, I've also had another lady who came in, she's in her 60s, and she came in and she said she had severe hip pain in her one hip for 10 years, and had bursitis in there. And after one session, her pain was completely gone just from the stretching.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's like sometimes I don't even, the stuff, it blows my mind.
Yeah.
That's why I'm a big believer.
Yeah, it's true. And that's just with level 2 skills. That's even crazier. Is like with level 2, it can help with that.
Yeah, I actually even think, to be honest with you, I think that that had come in with the hip pain. I hadn't even done my second certification yet. That was just level 1 work.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I sort of cheated a little bit because Chris would show me things here and there. So a little extra in my repertoire that I could do,
Sure.
But and get hold of the upper hand. But so
That's great. As far as some of your clientele, most clientele that come in, do they know like that word fascia, especially in Fascia House? Do they know what fascia is, and do you have to explain it to them?
a lot of them don't know what it is. I'm always explaining to them, and I'm always very happy to, because I really actually enjoy educating the people that I work on about the body and fascia and stuff like that. But then you have some clients that come in that know everything about it, and they do their homework, and they want to know, so they already know a lot about it, or Or some people have had so many injuries that they come in and they can rattle off all the anatomy too, because they know everything about their body, what's been going on. But I would say I explain or talk about fascia on a regular basis, probably weekly, especially with new clients all the time.
What are some of your favorite analogies or simplification in explaining fascia?
Well, I always describe fascia as sort of like a netting, like a webbing that runs throughout the entire system or the entire body. It basically holds all the organs together. It wraps around all your muscles. It runs through every single part of your body. I always liken it to like if you have a tent, the poles are the bones and the tent stretches over, and that's the fascial system. The fascial system gives you your shape and your tensegrity, the bounce of your body. I mean, if you didn't have that, you would just fall apart. It's what holds you together. And it's supposed to be moldable and pliable like putty. That's how it's supposed to move and feel. So that's sort of what I say. And I always say that, especially if you've had injury or a surgery or a lot of repetitive motion, you get those adhesions in the fascia, as well as what I'm talking about, the when you have surgeries, the creates this, yeah. And I always think it's like you get like a snag in a stocking, and it starts pulling on every different area of the body, right? And it's creating pain and discomfort because you become so imbalanced.
That's true, especially those adhesions. Yeah. It's funny because tensegrity is a word I kind of had to learn about what it is. And of course, Tom Myers explains it pretty well with tensegrity, with fascia.
Exactly.
Especially how like the model where you push and pull. I mean, it's cool to show that to clients.
Yeah.
So how do you offer FST to new clients? Is it part of your packages? Is it part of like your services that, this is what you get? I mean, how does FST come in play when clients are coming to you? Did they just come here just to get FST, kind of explain like the process, how, if a new client is coming in, what's the, protocol or, treatment?
Okay. So, I mean, on our menu on our website, you can come in for just FST or just cupping, but primarily people don't do that. I mean, most people are coming in because they want either a 60-minute session or a 90-minute session, or they need that typically. And we call our sessions manual therapy. We prefer the word manual therapy. So our 60-minute sessions or our 90-minute sessions will all include cupping, deep tissue work, and FST. And sometimes we might not do, like I said, a lot of FST on somebody who's extremely hypermobile and they've got too much mobility in the joints. We might do more cupping or more deep tissue work. But then some people need a lot of FST and will spend a lot more time doing that. When everyone comes in the first time, like I said, I always start off with FST, or I'll really question them to see what's going on first. But the FST always gives me a really good idea of what's going on first before I even start doing anything else in the body. Does that your question?
Yes, it does. I guess to follow up on that, do you guys do any type of like assessment prior to doing any type of those manual therapy?
I try, especially with people that come in that are in like really severe pain, or they can't, they having an issue lifting up their shoulder, or they're in so much pain in their back. I'll have them show me different movements as to what's creating that, how they're moving their shoulder, or they can't move it. What movement is creating that pain for them, and that way I can kind of assess a little more, and I can ask a lot more questions. So I do try to do a lot of assessing prior to somebody getting on the table, if that's what's going on with them.
And then as far as like fascia stretch therapy, how do you see FST evolving in the future?
I think FST should be the only type of stretching that should be done, to be honest. I mean, you can do static stretching and it's fine. It's there's nothing wrong with it. I think for people that don't stretch at all or are much older, any kind of stretching is good for them, right?
Mm.
It's going to, but I really prefer the stretch with the movement. I feel like when you're doing the static stretching, you're just almost stretching one muscle at a time. You're not stretching the whole fascial system. And I do really like the idea of stretching the whole fascial system at a time.
As far as your goals for your business, what are the long-term goals for Fascia House?
We want to have a wellness center. We want to have a wellness center with all different people in there, maybe physical therapists, trainers, chiropractic, red light therapy. We do actually we also do PEMF here, pulsed electromagnetic field therapy. We have a system like that, which is amazing. Put a lot of our clients on that PEMF mat. And then we also are introducing more red light therapy. We're going to have red light therapy as well in our office as well. Yes, but the goal is to have a big wellness center, to have everybody in there, and so that they can get complete everything. Even maybe acupuncturist.
Yeah, those are all complementary, all work together, synergistic. And as far as starting your business, how did you grow your business from the inception of Fascia House to the way it is currently? What were some of your key aspects of growing your business?
Of how it started, what we wanted to do.
So more like, I guess, how has Fascia House grown from the time that it started till now? Like, what were your key aspects? What were the key things in growing your business? Was it like referral?
I mean, yeah, for sure. Referrals. I mean, basically our business just goes off of referrals and Instagram as well. But basically purely referrals is what our business is based off of. And now we are getting a little more into the more marketing, and we're going to start doing that as well. Mostly just our marketing has been Instagram and word of mouth, to be honest, and our website. And we're also on Google. So people, the minute they put the word fascia in, we pop up. So that's been huge actually for us too. And also I feel like when we first started our business, we were making sure to be very specific that we don't just want to do massage therapy, that this is very different work. So we really, really wanted to get that out there to people. You're not coming in here just for a massage.
So I guess, yes, it does. It does answer my question actually. Because more of the business aspect for this podcast, I kind of like to see as far as like, how do people, like, entrepreneurs, like, how are they starting a business from scratch? How are they doing it currently? With times changing, especially with social media?
It's taken us, I believe we've been in business since 2019. I mean, but I would say only the last 4 years, the business has really taken off. The word of mouth has got out because, it took us a little while to really get into a groove and to figure out, how this works and how we wanted to integrate all the modalities together as well. But we wanted to be very specific, that it's very specific work and you're not just here to get a massage.
So you have a specific clientele that sees that.
Yeah, very specific.
That doesn't like hurt you guys as far as like accepting anyone and everyone, because you know the people that are coming, they know the type of treatments that they can get for their specific issue.
Yes. And some people will come in and they think that they're just coming for a massage, but we always will I always say, well, let's just start with a little bit of stretching. Let's just see what you need. And if they just need deep tissue work, then we'll do that. But oftentimes they love what we do, and they leave here better off as having all the other modalities as well.
I forgot to ask you this. I guess, how do you guys come up with the business name Fascia House Sports Therapy? I don't know if I asked you.
Well, Chris has always been about the fascia, always. And so he really got me into that because he had already been doing FST for so long. So he really had a very good understanding of it. And he's also done a lot of studying of the Tom Myers books and stuff like that. So he, right from day one, he's been all about fascia. And he says, and that's our thing. We're all about the fascia. So that's how we came up with he wanted a different name, something a little more catchy, something that sort of stood out a little bit as opposed to the norm. And so that's how we came up with that. And actually, I don't know if you can see our logo in the back. You can't on our window there.
Oh yes,
It's actually the fascial man with all the fascial lines on it, and that's our logo. I don't know if I have a card I can show you. I can point it up to the window for you.
that's such a subliminal logo.
That's our logo right there. And if you looked real, it's all the fascial lines on the anatomic bands on there.
That's so cool. That is very unique.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I guess my last question for you is for aspiring entrepreneurs, people who are starting a business, what kind of advice can you give them in starting off from, small into, I guess, the long-term goal? Because obviously, like for myself, I've only been doing this for, 6 months. What are some suggestions, tips that you can give, aspiring entrepreneurs?
Oh, that's a little tough, that one.
Especially in the body work, because like just not in general aspire, but like us, it's such a unique niche thing, body work. But
it really is. I would say really, really hone in on your craft at first, so you really are confident at what you're doing, and then I would, and when you really get good at that, add other modalities in, like your cupping, or if you maybe might be in doing body work, because I do think all three of those kind of go well together. Or even if you've got more of a personal training background, personal training and FST cupping, that goes unbelievably well together. We also found that we have so many people that come in that sometimes they don't even need as much body work, but they need strengthening and training. You see what I'm saying? Even sometimes more so than the actual body work. And so that's also kind of nice, because then I can sort of give them advice on that as well. Or we will refer them out to trainers that can help them as well in that respect. But I would say find your niche at what you're good at. What I also feel helps us with keep our clientele and also to make money as well. We do packages. So because people that are coming in here, it's never a one-time deal with them. They're coming in because they're hurting really badly and they need to have a series of sessions. So, and what our protocol is here is that we do 6 sessions in 1 month. So, and the reason being is because, with the fascial system, it snaps back and tightens up within like 2 to 3 days of getting any body work done, because it's not used to being loosened up like that. So the more on top of it we are, more consecutively, the better the results are. The less pain they have, they loosen up a lot better. So we like to do twice a week for 2 weeks and once a week for 2 weeks, so 6 sessions in a month. And then we have specific packages where you can buy 6-session packages, 9 sessions. And I also will think that that's also very helpful in a business too, because you're offering them something that they can work on too, as not just give 1 session and they're gone, because they're not going to get as much relief from that as doing several sessions in a row. Doing more consecutive work on those very tight people that are in pain, that's the game changer.
Yeah, I think I'm actually looking into offering packages and membership now that I've been in business for 6 months. I'm like seeing a pattern that packages and membership is probably for myself as a business owner to keep my clientele in, because it's tough. Once they just pay for that 1 session, you never see them again. And
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true. It's true. And that's why I say, really hone on your craft. Do a really good job, because your work's going to speak for itself when they leave there for that first session. Because sometimes some people are very hesitant. They don't want to spend that kind of money. And so I'll say, well, you think about it, because if I know I'm bringing my game and I know I've done really good work on them, the work's going to speak for themselves, and they'll come back to you. They'll come back to you for sure.
I'll quote you on that.
Get lots of stuff under your belt, because it gives you more options for people too.
No,
that's
there's
what
a lot.
think.
There's a lot in store for me as far as what I want to do at my business, including different modality, cupping, Graston type work. I think
there's so much to do. I even do, I don't know, people have probably not heard of it, maybe they have. I do fascia blasting with this tool sometimes, my clients as well.
Uh-huh.
I do that as well. We do, and then we also have a fantastic tool. It's not in my room, it's next door. We use, I prefer using this, and we use this a lot, and it really helps too to loosen up this muscle, is the rapid release.
The rapid release technology, where they came to Stretch to Win, correct? And they
me personally, I actually have been doing percussion therapy for probably 8 years prior to all the handheld tools come out, because there's a sports doctor around here. He's a very famous sports doctor that actually started all the big, he actually made these big percussion tools with the long, big handle. And I used to do those years ago, before even the little handhelds came out. And to be honest, I actually prefer the rapid release, not opposed to percussion therapy is perfectly fine, but I just prefer the rapid release. It's more vibration. It also has a soft, rubbery top, which you can get in around those bony areas that need to get loosened up as well, which I use a lot too.
Yeah, I know that they came to Stretch to Win to do a workshop there, actually. That same company, right?
Yeah. I would love that.
Yeah. So it's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Miss Paula, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge. Thank you for sharing for all the things, especially your story. I think it's cool that we hear different practitioners and how what they're doing currently and how they got involved with FST. So definitely, I would love for you to share with the audience how people can follow you, and of course learn more about what you're doing and book a session to over there at Fascia House. So please share with the audience a way to contact, whether if it's email, a phone, website, social media hand, and of course your location.
So our Instagram is fascia_house, and our website is fasciahouse.com. So they can go onto Instagram and book from there any appointments with us, or they can go directly onto our website and book from there as well. And if anyone has any questions, they could always contact me directly on my cell phone, and that's 949-637-0013. And we are located in Southern California, San Clemente, in the business park area off of Pico. So that's where we are.
Awesome. For those, of course, the audience who are wanting to learn how you can get certified in the Stretch2Go course, please go to Stretch2Go.com, where you can learn to become a practitioner like Paula and myself. And of course, even finding a practitioner near you, so you can feel the difference between what FST is compared to those other places that do stretch therapy, because we are one of a kind. It's a science-based, evidence-proof. It's science-proof. It's yes. So much different than any other thing. So please go visit there.
Yeah.
And then one last thing. Don't forget to subscribe. Stretch2Go Podcast. We drop every new episodes every Friday at 7 a.m. So thank you, Ms. Paula, for coming on to my podcast once again.
I really appreciate you having me on your podcast. It was really great talking to you.
Likewise. All right. And so tune in and don't forget to subscribe.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.